Good afternoon, everyone. This is Becca from Willow Hill Designs, and today I am sharing my progress on the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Down the Garden Path, and this is the visitors prompt. So I did add a few visitors to the garden, and I will share them with you. The first visitor is the little butterfly. Let's see, the little butterfly here. And this little butterfly was larger. It came out of a fabric, and it was probably a little bit more this size, maybe a tiny bit smaller. And I cut it down. I cut its wings down to make it a little bit more so that it would fit in with the garden here. And then I used my Derwent watercolor pencils just to sort of change the colors a bit. It was blue and white mostly. So I added a little bit of color, and I didn't do any embroidery stitches on the butterfly. I just did some little, regular sewing machine thread stitches on there, kind of in the same colors around the butterfly. And I didn't want to do any embroidery on it just because I didn't want to really take away from the butterfly. It's so pretty, and it's so tiny. You'd really have to do very fine stitches, and by the time I did all the sewing of all the visitors, I didn't want to embroider on top too. I may come back and do some though on that. The next visitor that I added is this little squirrel here, and he is sitting at the base of these birch trees, and again I just invisibly stitched him on, and I was going to do some embroidery stitches on the flowers to his to the lower left there. I just haven't gotten to that. I've been kind of busy with some other things, so I probably will come back and do that, but I've named him Stuart. So Stuart the squirrel is coming to the picnic. And I also added this little mouse, and her name is Miss Daffodil. I named her that because she has a yellow dress on. Made me think of daffodils. And so she's also a visitor to Miss Lucy's garden, and she's coming to a picnic that they're going to have. I added this little picnic blanket here, and that was just some little green and white fabric that I had, and I just colored in the ivory squares with sort of a blush pink, a pink and a little bit darker pink, just to kind of, I don't know if you can tell, probably, no, you really, it's not picking it up here, but I've added some vegetables. I think Miss Lucy has brought it, maybe it looks like maybe some blueberries here and some radishes for their little picnic. I also added this leaf here, which looks like it might have just come sailing down from the trees up above, this little tiny world here. I just love this leaf. It looks sort of very watercolor painted to me, and I thought I would add that. And I made a little house for Miss Daffodil, and she lives in an upturned or an overturned flower pot that was discarded out in the garden. And I had some fabric that was sort of a mottled terracotta color, and I just drew some shapes. I did these two pieces separately. I did the little rim separately. Hopefully it looks a little darker so that you can distinguish that there is a rim to the pot. And then the pot out of, I tried to lighten it up a tiny bit with my watercolor pencils. I added a window to her house, and some flowers above and some leaves. And then there's a couple of vines also growing up around her little flower pot house. And I stitched some stones for a path leading off of Miss Lucy's path, leads right off of her path to Miss Daffodil's house. And I'll give you a close-up of that. And another visitor to the garden is Mrs. Rabbit. Mrs. Rabbit is visiting as well, and she is bringing, going the wrong way. She's bringing some blueberries, it looks like. She's got her basket full of blueberries, and I just added some beads to that basket to look like blueberries. And let's see, I also added this little bush here. Maybe, I don't know, these colors kind of look like hydrangeas to me, maybe. I've had hydrangeas in that color. And I also added the grasses on the path. I haven't stitched any flowers on these grasses yet, but I will add some flowers in here. And then coming down the path, I added a tree, kind of a big old gnarly tree there, and I love this tree, so I thought it would be an interesting addition to this garden. And it's really at the end of the path here. Excuse my hand, my path will end right here. So my tree is at the very end of the path, and who lives in this tree but Owl? And he's probably sleeping because it's during the day, but I'm pretty sure he will come to the picnic when he finds out that there's goodies out there. So, and I added some French knots at the base of the tree in kind of peaches and gold tones, just sort of a little scattering of color there at the base of the tree. And I don't know if you can see, but right here, there are two little red squirrels peeking out. So I think they want to come to the picnic as well. So that is the visitors that I've added. As I said, my path will end right here. And if I have to add another piece for our other prompts, I will add it. I'll probably put something here, maybe to camouflage the join of the fabric, maybe another little visitor or some bushes or something here. Unless I can fit the rest of the prompts in this area that I have left between here and here. So we'll have to see, I'm not sure. And I don't mind adding a piece on. I'll just be a little more conservative with my space, because I don't want this to really get too long. I don't want to unroll miles of a roll here. So that is my my little offering of the visitors to the garden. And I'll just do a little close-up again. Here, oops, sorry. And here's the tree, and here's the little owl that lives inside. Behind this little door. And here is Mrs. Rabbit, and Daffodil, and Stuart, and their picnic. And the leaf that fell, and the little butterfly. So this is the whole garden path. Again, coming down the path. Kind of telling a little story as it goes down the path. It certainly is filling up. Oh, I do have a little blank space in here for something. I guess I could add something in there if I have to. And there is some nice space in here to add something. and also up here as well. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'm wishing you many blessings, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.